Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
Back in the saddle again here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, and my special new friend, Fernando Antonio Salguero. Am I saying that right?
Very good. You even got the roll of the R in there.
Yeah, I took a couple of years of Spanish, man. I'm all over it. You know, I wanted to focus a little bit on commonality of survival skills that we should be knowing about across regions. This Saturday at the Arizona Breakfast Club, we have some people that, you know, very similar to what you're doing here in Arizona, a long time. A good friend of mine named Tim Weaver, and they've been doing a lot of prepping. And so, matter of fact, he used to have a business for years called Practical Tactical, where he supplied a lot of the equipment. And he's going to be doing a presentation Saturday on ham radios. What happens when, you know, communications go down? What happens then? Well, he's going to be talking about that. I find that fascinating. And we were talking in the mid-'90s when the internet is going to get flipped off because it's DOD. What do you think was going to happen? And, you know, when they start playing games, you know, they already are cutting off Facebook accounts, Twitter accounts, YouTube accounts. You know, they do this kind of stuff. Are you going to be able to communicate? Well, you can do what's called digital packet radio or something that, you know, like send emails over ham radio signals. So we're going to be talking about that. We will not be denied our voice. So what are some of the common things that you think would apply in the, you know, wooded green areas of Pennsylvania and the desert landscape of Arizona? What are some of the common skills that we should learn about?
Well, for one, I would always look to the native peoples of the area. You know, I was actually thinking,
good idea.
Boy, I would not want to live in Arizona because the scarcity of water. But then I was thinking, well, now what were the Apache doing? What were the Pueblo doing in the Southwest to obtain water? So, you know, you're right. And as far as commonalities, I guess I would always look to the native cultures to see what they were doing. So, for example, one of the things that we do is we have outdoor skills weekends where we'll leave on a Friday night, come back on a Sunday, and between then we'll have, you know, some campfire and we'll eat and we'll cook our own foods. But we'll teach, we'll teach the basics of starting fires without matches, bow drilling, or using spark sticks effectively. We teach trapping, snaring, frog gig making, and setting tidal fish traps, the way the natives did. So I would always say look to the Aboriginal peoples of whatever the area is, because they were already living grid down. There was no grid. I mean, the grid is the sunshine and the earth under the feet and the flora and the fauna. So I mean that would be my idea there. The other thing is, you know, we do a lot of different. While we do emergency medical, we also do emergency dental. You know, when there's no dentist around, should there be a grid down situation, you know, we have a dentist in our group who taught how to do extractions or temporary fillings, different things you can use to dull the pain. You know, everyone should know a little bit more about pharmacology, pharmaceuticals, while I steer away from them, and most of the pharmacists in our group do as well. Understanding what antibiotics are most effective if you have to use them, and if you have to store them, how to store them, where to really, you know, don't pay attention to the expiration dates, as they're designed for basically to move product. For the pharmaceutical companies, they hold a lot. As long as they're stored in a cold, dry place, they'll retain 80% of their potency. Most pharmaceuticals for at least 10 years. Also, alternate routes to. I mean, you're down there by the Mexican border, somewhere near the Mexican border. I mean, you can walk into Mexico and get you know, all sorts of pharmaceuticals to stock up. Some of the other things that I think that unite us all would definitely be, one of my favorite classes is Nuke Knowledge for Love, understanding radioactive dynamics, how to shield from gamma rays, understanding alpha particles and beta particles, and how to use a dosimeter, where to find a Geiger counter, how to do seaweed cleanses, essentially fasting with consuming seaweed to remove radiation sickness, especially from the gastrointestinal tract, which is where it has a tendency to do the most amount of damage. So, we do radiation awareness. We help folks. We have meetings where we think about the difference between tucking in versus bugging out. When is it better to stay? And then if you have to go, where are you going to go? Start thinking about that now, different tactics, escape and evasion, especially we're in an urban center for the most part, escape and evasion techniques. I'm in the camp that advises folks to stick with what you know. You know where the stores and resources and waterways and alleys are in your own home. You're probably better off that way than becoming a refugee. But if you have to pick up and move, there are things that I think everyone should think about. Also, we have another meetup that we co-plan meetups. It's called Wild Foodies, and essentially, Wild Foodies, it's going out and identifying plants that are growing naturally, free food. It's always been out there, and most of us, have grown up only getting our food from, prepackaged, in the supermarket. So understanding the wild resources that are around us, and that goes back again to the coming contact with the knowledge of the Aboriginal cultures in your particular area.
That I'm glad you brought that up. And while you've been talking, I've been searching. I found the guy. I couldn't remember his name, but I remember he wrote a book, Keeping Yourself Alive, Fahrenheit 98.6, whatever it was, Cody London.
Cody Lundin. Yeah, he's there in the Southwest.
CODYLUNDIN.com. Now, he's in Prescott, Arizona here, which is only about an hour and a half from here. And he was on a cable show to where he and another gentleman, the other guy, he's all high-techy, go around doing kick butt, where Cody is, I'm walking around barefoot in the swamps in the desert, so I'm not sure I want to go that far. But he does adventures in outdoor survival, primitive living skills, urban preparedness, and it's the Aboriginal Living Skills School that he has. That's what made me think of it when you were talking about that. You're right. All of the places that have become cities now were civilizations that were the Native Americans here. So when you had the indigenous people here, they were there for a reason, and white man came and took it from them for a reason too, because it was fertile ground. There was water there. It was accessible for transportation. It was pretty. It was good, nice, and white man wanted it, and I got Winchester. So this is you want to know how to survive anywhere in the country in your region. Do exactly what Fernando is saying. How did the people hundreds of years ago survive there and thrive and raise families and live the good life? And a lot of people would argue it's a better life and more healthy, at least.
Right, absolutely, and the other thing is too, there's the pre-white man and then the early white man, because there's a lot to be learned from the homesteaders. There's a lot to be learned from the pioneers. As far as skinning, and we've also done we've done meetups on skinning and butchering deer. And then different ways of preserving the meat. So I think that learning from early settlers as well as the Aboriginal people of any geographic location is a really, really smart thing to do, because you're right, all of our climates are different, and there are different issues with your water than there are with our water. There are different issues with rainfall, the availability of water underground versus on the surface. There are a lot of differences.
Well, I'm glad you're doing this.
I would definitely recommend that.
I'm glad you're doing this for free. And Meetup, I
and that's the other thing. Most of there's a big business swarming up around survival, but this is for me and for this group. It is a service to humanity.
meetup.com. Just type in Survive and Thrive Philadelphia, and it'll come up. I mean, I'll give you an example. The Arizona Combo Special, I'm looking at right now by Cody London. He's got from July 31st to August 6th, so it's going to be hot. Tuition is $1,790. The class is full, and it has a class limit of 12 students. So what's that? That's almost like $20,000. And, I'm going, ooh, these skills have value. And Fernando's doing it for free. Maybe you can find one in your area. I'm sure you can. Thanks for coming on, Fernando. It was a great program. Glad you were able to share with the people things they needed to know. We'll be right back in just a little bit. Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the information that detail the real news between the lines of propaganda about government policies and the true relationship we all have with coercive governments. Learn the true condition of our economy, innovations and technological breakthroughs in energy, health, computer science, and space travel. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media, the media that is so last century. Corporate media has evolved into nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but we now have a fantastic alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com provides constant news updates on the issues that affect our lives in the most important ways. Our liberty and our property are under constant attack, and FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda while encouraging the participation of our readers. Join us at FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com, where the revolution between the ears has already matured.